So, you want to dominate marathon lobbies just like this? Another one on me. Knocked him.
Oh, I got down.
Knocked one. Knocked one.
Behind you, Tom.
Fell in this game, I think. Yeah.
Well, you're in luck, because in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the ultimate beginner's guide to survive, dominate, and be ahead of other players by miles. Get it? Because we're playing marathon.
And what does that make, Ketchup?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Alright, enough messing around. The first thing you need to do when you get this game is figure out what shell works best for you. Shells in this game work like classes in other games, and they provide special abilities that will help you win, survive, and get a lot of loot. Picking the correct shell for your run is incredibly important because each one has a specific playstyle that will make it very strong, but playing it incorrectly can directly affect your ability to succeed in this game. So, how do you decide what shell is right for you? Well, luckily, you don't have to make a definitive decision on which one you like the most, because you can change shells whenever you want before the raid starts. So you can pick one, you don't like it, that's okay, you're not stuck using that shell for the rest of the time you have the game. Early on, I would just play each character for at least 2 or 3 runs, and don't worry about playstyle, just play how you would normally play an extraction shooter. And then you can look at which one was successful, which one worked well, which shell really fit the way I played the most without really thinking about it, because that's how you'll normally play. You don't want to have to change entirely how you play just to fit a certain shell. Even if you don't like all the shells, I would still recommend playing them a few times each and learning what they all do so that whenever you come up against a team, you can know what they could potentially do to harm your squad. Having a true mastery over a shell and the abilities that come with it can really skyrocket your level of play and ability to outplay opponents who are a little less versed in the shells that they are using. Next up, we're going to talk about factions and why they're so important to start off doing in the early parts of the game. So right now, if we come over to the factions tab, there are 6 factions in the game, and they will be here on release as well. Each of these factions is leveled individually, as you can see. I'm level 10 for Cyber Acme, but for Might I'm only level 2. And the reason for this is because each of the factions is linked to their own personal contracts. And the contracts will vary in what you have to do. Some of them are pretty hard, some of them are very easy, but all of them will give XP directly to that faction, as well as XP to your overall count level, and some extra little rewards like guns, heals, things of that nature. Early on, it's a really good idea to pick a faction to focus on. And the reason for this is over here in the upgrade tab. They all have their own skill trees. Now, these skill trees give special perks that can really change up how you play the game, and they range from, maybe more vault space, like here in Cyber Acme. They give a lot more vault space. I have double the vault space I did in the beginning of the beta test, which is huge for being able to hoard some loot. Some of the other upgrades include, heat sink right here. This one increases the heat capacity. I can run for longer, I can slide more, I can double jump more. This one increases heat recovery, 20%. That's a big chunk. And if you get the second upgrade, I'm sure it goes up maybe 30 or 40%, which is huge. You can be running all over the place. And this is a lot of upgrades to have to go through. As you can see, each one has a pretty significant amount of upgrades that you have to get. And so I would recommend starting off by just reading the descriptions. You can go through, read all the different perks, and choose one that you really want to get the upgrades for. So Cyber Acme, I wanted to unlock some of these. I needed to be level 10 for it. So I did as many quests as I could to try to get these all unlocked very quickly, which gave me a big boost to other players. Some of my buddies, they had no vault space, and I was like, oh, well, I got 2 upgrades for it. And a little bonus tip is when you click on an upgrade that has, and you see on the bottom right, here we go, it'll cost credits, and you can see the upgrades in the future, so you don't have to actually be at the correct level yet. And then you can see here, I need unstable gel for this. Well, where do you get unstable gel? Well, you hover over it, and it'll say sources, Dire Marsh, bio research. So you can go there, or you can go outpost, orientation, or processing to find these. You can even go here and hit track, And now, when I'm in the game, a little pop-up will appear on the top left of the item whenever you're searching for it, and it will make it a little easier to see if it's in someone's inventory or in a box that you opened up. It will just make it a little bit easier for you, and it will also track the number that you have whenever you look in your inventory and stuff like that, so that you can know, what you need for these upgrades. Another thing, I would start saving up for them. Some of these are pretty hard to find, so if you see way down here, oh, I'm going to need 24 stable gel, I might start putting those aside way early on, even though I don't need them up here, just to make sure I have them available for me later on. Another little thing that is important with the factions is they unlock a lot of the marketplace. Now, the marketplace currently doesn't have a ton on it in the beta test, but I'm sure in the full release it will have a lot more going for it. But as you can see here, this gun, the MIPS railgun, is locked. I can't buy this from the marketplace right now, but if I upgrade Gorgony and I get this upgrade, I can now buy it from the marketplace over here. We'll go to Vault, Armory. I can't buy it right now. Let's go to Arachne. See, these are all locked behind a certain level for that faction. So if you really like, LMGs, maybe you go, I don't really care for the perks, but I really want these LMGs, then you go and level this one up specifically, and then you move on to some of the other factions. So I think focusing on one or two factions early on is really important. But if you want to upgrade all of them kind of evenly spaced out, that's totally okay too. But I think going after certain upgrades is very, very good for getting a little boost and head start on other players. Now we're going to go over the weapons and understanding how to use them. Marathon will have 28 weapons on release, and most of them are strong in their own ways and viable options to use. These weapons are broken down into a few categories: assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, precision rifles, LMGs, railguns, snipers, and pistols. If you understand the weapon's strengths and weaknesses, I guarantee you will be winning more gunfights and extracting at a higher rate. In Marathon, Bungie has done a pretty good job on making sure each weapon type is strong where they're supposed to be strong and weaker where they're supposed to be weak. For example, the assault rifles feel really good at a medium range, but too close and you lose to the SMGs, and too far and you lose to the precision rifles. And this extends to all the different weapons in the game. So when deciding on when to engage with enemy runners, think about what guns you have and use that to pick a course of action that is most effective for you and your squad. And I recommend, if you're playing in a 3-man squad, choosing weapons that cover all ranges so that your team can really be diverse and effective in all the different situations you can find yourself in. And if you're looking for some advice on which weapons I think are the best in the game as of right now, be on the lookout for my tier list that will be coming out for both weapons in the game and the different shells that are available. Before moving on, if you've enjoyed the video so far, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It would really mean a lot to me, and it would help me know if you would like other videos like this in the future. Also, the footage seen in the background was recorded over at Twitch. I live stream a couple times a week for a few hours at a time, so if you'd like to stop by and say hi, I would love to see y'all in the chat. Now, we're going to discuss how you can actually fight runners and use the previous tips to get a leg up on them so that you can succeed in more gunfights. Going back to the importance of the shell that you decide to use, really make sure to play into the strengths of that shell so that you don't accidentally throw a fight just because you were playing it incorrectly. If you're playing triage, for example, you don't want to be the guy in front taking all the hits, because if you get knocked, you can't use your instant res on your teammates if they get downed. And this also leads into the overall positioning that you decide to use. If there's plenty of cover and verticality that you can use, don't just stand in the same place and peek over and over. You need to move, use cover, and reposition to different heights if you can. This will really throw off the enemies, especially if you're in a 3-man who are all kind of moving around together. It's very, very difficult to track. And staying unpredictable is one way that I've gotten a ton of kills in the past. Players just aren't expecting you to go from one spot up onto a roof in 5 seconds and shooting them from above. And this is incredibly important for people whose aim might be a limiting factor for them normally. If your aim isn't as good as other players, you have to make up for that with your brain. So positioning yourself in a place where you can get a few shots off before they can shoot back. And you have to remember, these guns are really tuned to their effective ranges. So the SMGs are very strong close range, but fall off heavily mid-range. So depending on the loadout you have, that can really determine your positioning as well as where the enemies are. So there's a lot of moving parts in this game that you have to keep track of, but with enough practice, you'll get the hang of it. And one little note when it comes to the actual gunfights in this game, when you're within probably 10 meters of people, hipfire is extremely effective. It's a little bit easier to maneuver since your character doesn't have any movement penalties from aiming down sights, and the guns are very accurate, so hipfire is definitely the way to go close up. And the last thing I'll talk about is shields. If you crack 2 or 3 of the enemies on the other team, I would definitely start maneuvering yourself into a better position, not necessarily throwing your body at them since they might not all be healing at the same time, but get closer or reposition while they're back healing. And if you're getting shot and you lose health and shield, heal the shield first since it's usually faster to get back than the health, and then focus on health once your shields are full. Main thing to remember during the fights in this game is that positioning outweighs aim every day. So if you're worried that you won't have a good time in this game because you don't have as good of aim as other people, don't worry, you can definitely make up for that by being smarter than them. Next up, we're going to talk about one of the biggest killers in extraction shooters, and that is gear. Gear fear is the mentality that people get when they have high value loot on them and they don't ever want to use it. So say you kill a player with golden shields, 2 purple weapons, a purple backpack, and you extract, and now you have the best gear you've ever had, and you're never going to take it back in because you're scared of losing it. This is one of the biggest killers because when you eventually convince yourself you're ready to take in the gear, you're so worried about losing it that you don't play like you normally would, and you stress yourself out for no reason. It's just loot, it's just pixels on a screen. It's not the end of the world if you lose it, and eventually you'll get that back with someone else, or you'll buy it from the market. You'll find a way to get the loot back if you lose it, so don't worry so much that it affects your runs. And there's a saying in extraction shooters, it's not your loot, it's just your turn. Next up, we're going to talk about the AI in the game, how we can deal with it, and how we can actually use them like a radar for knowing where other runners are all over the map. First, you got to understand, these AI are built different. When compared to most of the other extraction shooters I've ever played, these AI are by far the most dangerous and the hardest to kill out of every other game in this genre. They were so strong in the first day of the server slam that Bungie actually nerfed their health within the first 12 hours of the server slam being live. The AI are extremely aggressive. Whenever they see you, they will come and immediately shoot at you and track you down. What I've done in the past is I target the low level AI with the gray shields so I can just get rid of the fodder enemies so I'm not getting shot at by 12 different people. And then I start focusing on the guys with the blue and the purple shields if I need to. And the AI can be very annoying where it feels like every time you enter a new place, you have to fight AI before you can loot anything. But they're not always bad. Sometimes the AI can actually be like a radar for tracking down other runners. Now, what do I mean by this? If you're entering a POI and you can see the AI are locked on somebody, their eyes are red instead of the little yellow light that they have, that means there's someone else there that they are actively aggroed onto, and you can use that to figure out where the other runner might be. Another thing to remember is that the reinforcement ships that drop off more AI at each POI will only come drop off AI if the previous ones have been killed. So if you see a ship land on the POI you're headed to, that means players just got done killing that wave of enemies, so they might still be there or at least are close by. The main thing to take away from the AI is that they are not to be underestimated. I went into the game assuming they'd be like every other scav I ran into, every other AI, where they're very easy to kill and just a little annoying. But my first 4 deaths were all to groups of AI because I didn't think they were going to kill me. I thought, they can't be that strong, surely. Now, this is something that might change in the future. Bungie's already been posting about them potentially tuning the AI even more, making it a little easier. So on the full release, they might not be this scary, but I'll let you know. During the server slam, I was more scared of AI than I was of other players. Another thing I haven't heard anyone else talk about is how the birds that fly around the map can actually let you know if players are nearby or not. These birds will sit in groups on the ground all over the map, and if you get within a certain distance of them, they will fly and make a bunch of noise. If you are paying attention, you can be alerted very early on if there's people pulling up on you from a distance. It's happened to me a few times where I'm looking around, making sure no one's coming, and I see a flock of birds go up, a few hundred meters away, and I start instantly looking for players, and then boom, 10-15 seconds later, they come up over the hill, but I was ready for them. And for the final tip in this video, make sure to use your proximity chat to make a lot of close friends, just like this guy tried to be my friend.
You guys are fucking stupid that don't know how to fucking wipe your fucking
You're not dead right now?
right there specifically,
Oh, wait.
You're a fucking piece of shit. I stuck my fingers in your dad's ass, you piece of shit.
All jokes aside, just be nice when you're playing with people who you don't know. You can make a lot of close friends if you're nice to everybody, or just make the actual game itself enjoyable, because who wants to play with someone who's yelling at each other and all that? It's just a game. Be nice, have fun, and good luck everybody. Thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please drop a like so I know what content y'all enjoy, and be on the lookout for a few tier lists that will be coming out once the full game releases on March 5th.